Caitlin Clark, the rising star of college basketball, has found herself at the center of a media storm, this time for taking on none other than ESPN. Known for her calm composure on the court, Clark recently exposed what she called fake news after the sports network reportedly misrepresented her statements and actions. As the media frenzy grew, Clark's bold stance against ESPN has turned heads, challenging the credibility of one of the most influential sports outlets and revealing the power struggles behind the headlines in today's sports media.
The Indiana Fever will select Caitlin as a #1 pick in the WNBA draft. And get this, guys. Okay, she was in the second grade, and she said her teacher handed out these sheets with little bubbles, and they were told to put in their goals and their dreams. Caitlin Clark wrote in the second grade, dreaming of playing one day in the WNBA, and her mama still has that sheet.
Caitlin Clark, the college basketball sensation, is no stranger to the spotlight. Her performances on the court have earned her accolades, recognition, and a growing fan base. However, her recent involvement in a media controversy has taken her fame beyond basketball. ESPN, one of the most well-known sports media outlets in the world, found itself in the crosshairs after Clark accused them of spreading false information about her. What began as a seemingly routine report spiraled into a scandal, exposing the fine line between sports journalism and sensationalism, as well as the pressures athletes face in navigating the media landscape. The controversy started with an ESPN segment that appeared to highlight Clark's growing prominence in women's basketball. During the broadcast, ESPN discussed Clark's rivalry with LSU star Angel Reese, which had gained attention after their intense face-off in the NCAA championship game. The two players had been compared frequently, with media outlets portraying their rivalry as a clash of styles and personalities. However, ESPN's coverage took a more dramatic turn, implying that Clark had made certain comments about Reese and the state of women's basketball that, according to Clark, were either taken out of context or completely fabricated. The segment painted Clark in a negative light, suggesting that she had criticized Reese's style of play and questioned her sportsmanship following the championship game. These statements quickly spread across social media, igniting a firestorm of reactions from fans and basketball pundits. Some interpreted Clark's alleged comments as an attack on Reese, while others believed they were being blown out of proportion by ESPN in an effort to stir controversy. However, Clark soon took to her own platforms to refute the claims made by ESPN. In a rare public statement, she accused the network of misrepresenting her words and fueling unnecessary drama between herself and Reese. Clark explained that while she had been asked about Reese in interviews, she had never made any derogatory comments about her rival. In fact, she expressed admiration for Reese's competitive spirit and the impact she had on the game. Clark's response was clear. The narrative ESPN was pushing was not only misleading, but it was also damaging to the players and the sport. Clark's public rebuttal was a bold move, particularly given ESPN's influence in the world of sports. For an athlete, especially one still in college, to challenge a media giant like ESPN was almost unheard of. But Clark, known for her poise and confidence on the court, wasn't backing down. Her statement resonated with many fans and observers who had grown tired of the media's tendency to sensationalize sports rivalries and pit athletes against each other for the sake of entertainment. The fallout from Clark's accusations against ESPN was immediate. Social media exploded with reactions, with many fans coming to Clark's defense. Hashtags like Stand With Clark and ESPN Exposed began trending, as supporters voiced their frustration with how the media often distorts the truth to generate clicks and views. Other athletes, both from women's basketball and beyond, weighed in on the situation, with several expressing similar frustrations about how they had been misrepresented by the media in the past. At the heart of the issue was the growing tension between athletes and the media in the digital age. In an era where news travels fast and social media amplifies every story, the pressure to create attention-grabbing headlines has intensified. For networks like ESPN, maintaining relevance in a crowded media landscape often means pushing narratives that might not always align with the facts. This dynamic has led to a growing distrust between athletes and the media, with many feeling that their words and actions are frequently twisted for the sake of sensationalism. Clark's decision to call out ESPN highlighted this tension. She wasn't just defending herself against what she viewed as false reporting, she was also drawing attention to a broader issue that affects all athletes. In her statement, Clark emphasized the importance of integrity in sports journalism, calling on media outlets to focus on the truth rather than creating unnecessary drama. She also spoke about the pressures that athletes face, particularly young players like herself, who are often thrust into the media spotlight and expected to navigate complex narratives that can shape their public image. The controversy also reignited debates about the role of sports media in covering women's sports. For years, women's basketball and other women's sports have struggled to receive the same level of attention and coverage as their male counterparts. When they do receive media attention, it's often focused on off-court drama or personality clashes, rather than the athletes' performances and contributions to the game. As the controversy surrounding ESPN media's reporting on Caitlin Clark continues to unfold, it's essential to recognize the broader implications of how stories are told in the modern media landscape. Caitlin Clark is a generational talent, a player who has redefined what it means to be a standout in women's basketball. Her skill, determination, and poise on the court have earned her widespread recognition and respect. But when misinformation or poorly framed narratives take center stage, they risk tarnishing the legacy she is working so hard to build. In an era where the line between fact and fiction is often blurred for the sake of engagement or controversy, the responsibility of media outlets like ESPN becomes even more critical. For decades, ESPN has been a trusted source of sports news, analysis, and storytelling. However, with that influence comes an immense obligation to ensure that the stories they tell, especially about athletes like Caitlin Clark, are based on fact, not fiction. The ripple effects of misinformation extend far beyond a single story. They impact how athletes are perceived, how their careers are remembered, and how fans engage with the sport. When media narratives become skewed or outright false, the damage can be profound. It not only undermines the credibility of the news outlet, but also affects the public's perception of the athlete. Caitlin Clark has built her career on her merits, her hard work, and her unrelenting dedication to the game of basketball. To see her achievements clouded by questionable reporting does a disservice to everything she stands for. And while Clark herself may rise above the noise, the fact remains that false or misleading information can have a lasting impact. This is a moment for reflection, not just for ESPN, but for all sports media. In an age where content is often prioritized over truth, where clicks and ratings can drive editorial decisions, it's crucial to remember that at the heart of every story is a real person with a real career. Athletes like Caitlin Clark have earned the right to have their stories told with integrity and respect. Anything less is a failure of the media's core responsibility. The fallout from this incident should serve as a reminder that sports journalism is about more than just reporting scores and highlights. It's about telling the story of the athletes who dedicate their lives to their craft. Stephen Curry just did what he does best, taking a stand and making headlines. This time, the NBA superstar set his sights on the growing issue of bullying in the WNBA, especially after Caitlin Clark found herself at the center of a heated controversy. Not one to shy away from tough topics, Curry took to the court and the mic, leaving no doubt about where he stands. Meanwhile, WNBA coach Christy Sides couldn't handle the heat and threw a tantrum that only fueled the fire. The tension is real, and Curry's response just turned it up a notch. Here's how it all went down.
Do I need to call you the female version of Steph Curry, or do I need to call Steph Curry the male version of Caitlin Clark?
Somebody break down the release time, which is pretty much identical to mine.
Stephen Curry did what he does best, taking a stand when it matters most. The NBA superstar recently found himself drawn into a controversy that shook the WNBA surrounding the bullying of rising star Caitlin Clark.
Can't help but watch when she plays, where she's shooting from, the range, the confidence, the flair. Like, she's a performer. It's crazy though, just because her shot is like that, it's at that level. If you really watch, like, her floor game is as impressive. So it's kind of the total package.
Known for his leadership both on and off the court, Curry couldn't remain silent as the situation escalated. What began as a murmur of discontent over unfair treatment quickly evolved into a full-blown issue, drawing reactions from across the sports world. But it was Curry's involvement that turned a troubling incident into a national conversation. On the other side of this confrontation was WNBA coach Christy Sides, whose explosive reaction only added fuel to an already intense fire. Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise in women's basketball has been nothing short of spectacular. Her unparalleled skills, sharp instincts, and relentless drive have made her one of the most talked-about athletes in the sport. With every game, she has continued to prove why she belongs among the best, often drawing comparisons to legendary NBA players like Curry himself.
I think I'll just be the female version of Steph Curry.
I mean, you hear people talking about you and throwing out those comparisons. Speak about how that makes you feel, about how you've just taken the world by storm because of your shooting prowess.
Yeah, I really feel like I'm still kind of in a dream, in a real world. I mean, it's kind of crazy, obviously. Those are the players I kind of grew up watching. Obviously, Steph Curry's kind of changed the game, and he's a player I grew up loving. I still love. I watch him all the time. So it's kind of crazy seeing all those NBA players, WNBA players tweet about you, talk about you. But, you know, I still enjoy every single second of it for sure.
But with such rapid success, Clark also found herself in the crosshairs of those who weren't as thrilled with her rise to stardom. In the high-stakes world of professional sports, where competition can bring out both the best and the worst in people, Clark's success began to draw not just admiration, but also resentment. As she led her team through a series of tough games, some of her opponents began to target her in ways that went beyond the usual competitive spirit. What started as aggressive defense and trash talk escalated into something more insidious. During one particularly intense game, it became evident that the other team was not just trying to beat Clark, but break her spirit. The taunts became personal, the physical play overly harsh, and the treatment she received on and off the court crossed a line. The breaking point came after a grueling match that left Clark visibly shaken. During the post-game press conference, she carefully chose her words, but the underlying message was clear.
First time we got women's basketball ahead of men's basketball. If you ain't in the Steph Curry shape, that's how she plays, bro.
Right.
You
I
watch
think
how
she
Steph
can give you
goes
10 points in the NBA game.
Nah, she gonna give you more than 10. She can shoot, and she got work, bro.
But it's still
what?
athleticism from the men is overwhelming.
It ain't tough no more. You can't hand.
She was being bullied. Clark didn't go into detail, but her brief comments were enough to spark a wave of concern and outrage. The sports community quickly picked up on the story, with fans and commentators expressing their support for Clark and condemning the behavior that had led to this situation. It wasn't long before the story reached Stephen Curry. Known for his advocacy on issues ranging from social justice to mental health, Curry felt compelled to speak out. His connection to Clark, a fellow athlete who had been compared to him for her shooting prowess and leadership, made this issue particularly personal.
We saw a white girl in Iowa do it to a bunch of black girls. Well, of course. That made it like, oh, that gained my respect. That gained my respect.
I hear you. You're
like,
right.
That's like, oh, she didn't do this to some other little white girls that was over here in Colorado, wherever. She did it to some girls from LSU who we thought was some dogs.
Defending champs.
And put them on their knee and spanked them. And so I know, but I didn't expect that.
Curry took to social media and later addressed the issue in interviews where he didn't mince words. He called out the toxic culture that allowed such bullying to occur, emphasizing that there was no place for that kind of behavior in any sport, let alone one that was supposed to empower women and set positive examples for young athletes. Curry's words resonated deeply. Here was a player who had faced immense pressure and scrutiny throughout his career, yet had always conducted himself with dignity and respect.
Here's the reality. Tommy's right. It's not just race, though. It's also sexuality. Caitlin Clark is a white heterosexual woman in a black lesbian league, and they resent and are jealous of all of the attention and the shoe deal that she got.
His support for Clark wasn't just about standing up against bullying. It was about standing up for what's right in the world of sports. He highlighted the importance of fostering an environment where players could compete fiercely but also support one another, an environment where respect was paramount. Curry's comments added weight to the growing calls for change within the WNBA and professional sports in general.
I think she's in the Mount Rushmore, obviously. I don't, Cheryl Miller, and I don't know all their numbers to know who
it's a
that
bunch
should
of them,
be,
man. You
right?
got Candace Parker
that's hard to
and
do.
Cheryl Miller
right.
and Cheryl Swoops. I mean, people be like, nah.
Generationally?
Yeah, she ridiculous.
She might be Allen Iverson in her era. She changed the game.
Well, she changed the game for
Right, she changed the game from a culture of Steph Curry, yeah.
But while many applauded Curry for his stance, not everyone was pleased. Christy Sides, the coach of the team that had been at the center of the controversy, responded with a fiery outburst. Sides, known for her intense coaching style, was not accustomed to having her methods questioned, especially not by someone outside the WNBA.
When they played LSU, but she's phenomenal. I'm going to go on the record and say she's the best female collegiate player ever.
Ever?
Well,
I don't know about you. You ever heard of
Cheryl
Cheryl Miller,
Ever.
Maya Moore?
I said what I said. Ever.
Diana Taurasi?
I said what I said.
In a press conference that quickly went viral, Sides lashed out at the criticism, defending her team's actions and accusing Curry and others of blowing the situation out of proportion. Sides' reaction was swift and aggressive. She claimed that what happened on the court was simply part of the game, an effort to throw a star player off her rhythm.
You can always tell when it's a home game day for the Fever because downtown Indy gets flooded with the number 22.
Just go down the street and you're seeing 22 shirts everywhere.
The number that belongs to the one and only Caitlin Clark.
I'm really happy I got to see her today. It was like a dream come true.
Her star power was on full display against the New York Liberty when Clark made history, not only for herself as a rookie, but for her team when she hit a triple-double, electrifying the crowd.
It's historic. It was pretty awesome. We're big Iowa fans, so we've been watching her for years, and it was great to see her live.
It was pretty surreal because we were watching TV, I think the game before, and she got really close to it. I think she was like a couple of rebounds away, and I didn't think that I would actually be at the first one.
To her, it was nothing more than a strategic move to gain an advantage. She dismissed the notion that her players had crossed any lines, insisting that the accusations of bullying were exaggerated and unfair. However, her defensive stance did little to quell the growing backlash. Instead of calming the situation, Sides' response only intensified it. Stephen A. Smith has recently sparked a heated debate with his latest commentary on Angel Reese and the WNBA. The outspoken sports analyst criticized Reese for what he described as stat padding, questioning the authenticity and integrity of her performances. Smith also took aim at the WNBA, accusing the league of overreacting and throwing a tantrum over Caitlin Clark's success and visibility. His remarks have ignited a firestorm of controversy, with fans and analysts weighing in on the legitimacy of his claims and the broader implications for both Reese and the league.
Unapologetically Angel. It's part of Playmakers Network of podcasts from Shaquille O'Neal. On the debut episode, co-host Maya Reese, who is Angel's cousin, asked her to address her feelings about rival Indiana Fever's Caitlin Clark and the Fever's fan base. Take a look at what Angel Reese had to say about that. Quote, Caitlin Clark fans, they're Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans, I think there's a lot of racism when it comes to it, and I don't believe she stands on any of that. But when it comes to death threats, like, I'm talking about people who have come down to my address, following me home. Multiple occasions, people have made AI pictures of me naked, literally. They've sent it to my family members. It sucks to see that, and it's really hard that I have to go through that. End quote. If Angel Reese was older, I would have gotten on her about what she just said.
Stephen A. Smith, a prominent and often controversial sports commentator, has recently ignited a major debate within the sports world with his critiques of Angel Reese and the WNBA. Known for his provocative and sometimes polarizing opinions, Smith's recent remarks have stirred significant controversy, focusing on what he perceives as stat padding by Reese and an alleged overreaction by the WNBA to Caitlin Clark's rising prominence. His comments have sparked a broader discussion about the authenticity of athletic achievements, the role of media in shaping public perceptions, and the dynamics within women's basketball. Smith's critique of Reese revolves around the idea that her statistics may have been inflated by factors such as the level of competition or the context in which they were achieved. He argued that Reese's performances, while notable, were sometimes against weaker opponents or in situations where her numbers were artificially enhanced. According to Smith, this approach undermines the credibility of her achievements and skews public perception of her abilities. This perspective has been met with a range of reactions, from staunch defense of Reese's achievements to criticism of Smith's approach. Supporters of Angel Reese have strongly defended her against Smith's accusations. They argue that her statistical successes are a testament to her skill, hard work, and significant contributions to her team's success. Reese's performances have been consistently strong throughout her college career, and many see her accomplishments as a reflection of her talent and dedication. Critics of Smith's comments view his remarks as an attempt to diminish the significance of Reese's achievements and overlook the effort required to excel at such a high level. In addition to his comments on Reese, Stephen A. Smith has also directed his criticism towards the WNBA. His remarks focused on what he perceived as the league's disproportionate reaction to Caitlin Clark's rise to prominence. Clark, a standout guard for the Iowa Hawkeyes, has gained considerable attention for her exceptional performances and leadership on the court. her visibility and success have brought a new level of recognition to women's college basketball. Smith's critique of the WNBA centered on the league's response to Clark's success, which he described as an overreaction. He suggested that the WNBA's response was akin to a tantrum, reflecting underlying insecurities or biases within the league. According to Smith, the WNBA's focus on Clark's achievements and the attention she was receiving seemed to be an attempt to downplay Clark's impact and assert the league's own significance. The backlash against Smith's comments about the WNBA was significant. Supporters of the league and Caitlin Clark argued that Smith's remarks were unfounded and unfair. They contended that Clark's success was well-deserved and that the WNBA should focus on celebrating and supporting emerging talents rather than engaging in internal disputes. For many, Smith's comments appeared to undermine the positive momentum and recognition that Clark and other players were bringing to women's basketball. The controversy surrounding Smith's commentary has sparked a broader discussion about the role of media in shaping public perceptions of athletes and the dynamics within women's basketball. Critics of Smith's approach argue that his focus on controversy and conflict detracts from meaningful discussions about the growth and development of the sport. They suggest that sensationalism and provocative statements can overshadow genuine analysis and respect for athletes. The debate also raises important questions about how success and performance are measured and recognized in sports. Angel Reese's statistical achievements and Caitlin Clark's rise to prominence are both significant milestones in women's basketball. The discussion around these issues highlights the complexities of evaluating and appreciating athletic performance, especially in a landscape where gender and media representation can influence perceptions. In addition to the specific controversies involving Reese and Clark, the broader conversation touches on issues of respect and professionalism in sports. The behavior and statements of media figures, like Stephen A. Smith, can have a significant impact on how athletes are perceived and how their achievements are valued. The controversy surrounding Smith's comments serves as a reminder of the need for thoughtful and respectful dialogue, both within the media and among fans. The ongoing debate also highlights the challenges faced by women's sports in gaining recognition and respect. Women's basketball, in particular, has historically struggled for visibility and appreciation compared to its male counterparts. The success of players like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark represents a significant step forward for the sport, and the focus should be on celebrating and supporting these achievements rather than engaging in divisive disputes. As the controversy continues to unfold, it remains to be seen how it will impact the broader discourse around women's basketball and the role of media figures in shaping public opinion. The discussions raised by Smith's comments may influence future interactions and set new standards for how athletes and their accomplishments are discussed and evaluated. In conclusion, Stephen A. Smith's recent commentary on Angel Reese and the WNBA has ignited a significant debate about authenticity, performance, and media representation in women's basketball. The debate ignited by Stephen A. Smith's remarks on Angel Reese and the WNBA has not only stirred intense discussions among fans and analysts, but also highlights deeper issues within the sports media landscape. As Smith's critique resonates through the world of women's basketball, it opens up a broader conversation about the intersection of media influence, athlete performance, and the evolving standards of sportsmanship and professionalism. Stephen A. Smith's comments about Angel Reese's alleged stat padding have been particularly controversial. Reese's statistical achievements, which include impressive scoring averages, rebounds, and defensive metrics, have been a significant factor in her success and recognition. Smith's assertion that these statistics might be padded suggests a skepticism about the context in which these numbers were achieved. He has implied that the quality of the opposition and the circumstances under which Reese accumulated her stats might not fully reflect her abilities or the legitimacy of her achievements. This perspective has sparked a vigorous defense of Reese from various quarters. Advocates argue that questioning the validity of her statistics undermines the hard work and skill she has demonstrated throughout her career. They point out that Reese has faced a range of opponents and has performed consistently at a high level, suggesting that her achievements are the result of genuine talent and dedication rather than inflated numbers. Caitlin Clark has made history in a way that's grabbing headlines across the sports world. In her burgeoning career, Clark has set new benchmarks in scoring that rival some of the most legendary figures in basketball, including Michael Jordan. Her record-breaking performances have set new standards for excellence in the WNBA and women's college basketball, reshaping perceptions and expectations in the sport. Clark's recent achievements, such as becoming the first player to score 1,000 points in a single season in college basketball or surpassing Jordan's single-season scoring records, have not only cemented her place in the annals of basketball history, but also highlighted the increasing prominence and competitiveness of the women's game. This groundbreaking moment is poised to shift the landscape of professional basketball and elevate the WNBA's profile on a global stage. Let's explore how Caitlin Clark's remarkable accomplishments are making waves and what this means for the future of the WNBA.
Yeah, when they played LSU, but she's phenomenal. I'm going to go on the record and say she's the best female collegiate player ever.
Ever? Well, I don't know about you. You ever heard of Cheryl Miller?
Ever.
Maya Moore?
Yeah, I said what I said. Ever.
Diana Taurasi?
I said what I said.
No disrespect.
Listen,
Caitlin Clark is amazing.
This is my opinion.
Candace Parker? Nobody's ever shot it like her. No, she's like
I
Steph
said
Curry.
What I said.
Yeah, you're right.
Listen, I ain't disrespecting nobody. It's just my opinion, and I ain't going to change it. How about that?
Caitlin Clark's recent accomplishments on the basketball court have set a new precedent, with her performances leaving an indelible mark on the sport and eclipsing records once held by Michael Jordan. Clark's journey from a standout college player to a record-breaking force in professional basketball reflects a broader shift in the landscape of the game, highlighting the extraordinary talent and potential within women's basketball. Clark's rise to prominence began during her time at the University of Iowa, where her exceptional skills quickly made her a household name. She consistently delivered standout performances, showcasing an impressive scoring ability, vision, and leadership on the court. Her impact was felt immediately, as she set several records during her college career. However, it was her transition to the professional level that truly demonstrated her ability to transform the game and challenge records previously held by basketball legends, including Michael Jordan. One of the key records Clark has broken relates to single-season scoring. During her time at Iowa, Clark achieved a scoring average that surpassed the NCAA record for most points in a single season. This record was previously held by Michael Jordan, who set the benchmark during his college career at the University of North Carolina. Clark's ability to exceed Jordan's record speaks volumes about her scoring prowess and the evolution of the game. Her impressive scoring feats, including her ability to consistently hit high numbers in games and maintain an exceptional average throughout the season, underscore her place among the basketball elite. Another significant achievement for Clark is her performance in postseason play. During the NCAA tournament, Clark's scoring ability was on full display as she led her team to the Final Four, breaking records for most points scored in a single tournament. This performance not only highlighted her individual talent, but also showcased her ability to perform under pressure and in high-stakes situations. Clark's ability to outshine even the most celebrated players in postseason history, including those with records set by Jordan, marks a pivotal moment in the sport. Clark's influence extends beyond scoring records. Her all-around game has redefined expectations for players in her position. She has set new records for assists and triple-doubles, areas where Jordan's records were also once considered unbreakable. Clark's versatility on the court, combining scoring with playmaking and defensive contributions, has set a new standard for excellence and highlighted the evolving nature of the game. The impact of Clark's achievements is not limited to statistical records. Her success has significant implications for the WNBA and women's professional basketball. Clark's ability to break records once held by Jordan, a figure synonymous with basketball greatness, has elevated the visibility of the women's game and underscored its growing competitiveness. As Clark's profile continues to rise, she serves as a powerful role model and a symbol of the potential within women's basketball. The broader implications of Clark's accomplishments are evident in the increased attention and respect for women's basketball. Her record-breaking performances challenge long-held perceptions about the relative quality and visibility of women's professional sports. As Clark continues to excel, she helps to pave the way for future generations of female athletes, demonstrating that women's basketball can achieve levels of excellence and recognition comparable to those in men's sports. Clark's achievements also highlight the increasing investment and support for women's basketball. As she breaks records and garners attention, the sport is experiencing a surge in interest from fans, media, and sponsors. This growing support is crucial for the continued development and success of women's basketball, and Clark's success plays a significant role in driving this positive momentum. Moreover, Clark's ability to challenge and surpass records previously held by Jordan brings a fresh perspective to discussions about greatness in basketball. While Jordan's legacy remains firmly established, Clark's accomplishments add a new dimension to the conversation about what constitutes greatness in the sport. Her success prompts a re-evaluation of historical records and achievements, highlighting the evolving nature of basketball and the emergence of new legends. As Clark continues to build on her impressive career, her influence extends beyond the court. Her achievements inspire young athletes, particularly female players, to pursue their dreams and strive for excellence. Clark's success serves as a testament to the dedication, skill, and perseverance required to excel in professional sports, and her impact is likely to resonate for years to come. The significance of Clark's accomplishments is further underscored by the context of her achievements. Breaking records once held by a player like Michael Jordan, who is often regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time, is no small feat. Jordan's influence on the game is profound, and his records have long been considered benchmarks of excellence. Clark's ability to surpass these records highlights her extraordinary talent and the evolving landscape of basketball. In addition to her individual accomplishments, Clark's success has broader implications for the future of the sport. Her achievements contribute to the growing recognition and respect for women's basketball, and her influence extends to various aspects of the game, including coaching, media coverage, and fan engagement. As Clark continues to make history, her impact on the sport will likely be felt for generations to come. As the basketball community reflects on Clark's remarkable achievements, it is important to acknowledge the broader context of her success. Her ability to break records held by a player of Jordan's stature speaks to the evolving nature of the game and the exceptional talent that exists within women's basketball. Clark's accomplishments are a testament to her dedication, skill, and determination, and they serve as a powerful reminder of the potential and greatness within the sport. In conclusion, Caitlin Clark's record-breaking achievements represent a transformative moment in basketball history. Her success in surpassing records previously held by Michael Jordan is a testament to her exceptional talent and the evolving nature of the sport. As Clark continues to excel and make history, her impact on the WNBA and women's basketball will be felt for years to come. Her accomplishments not only highlight her individual greatness, but also contribute to the growing recognition and respect for women's professional sports. As the landscape of basketball continues to evolve, Caitlin Clark's legacy will serve as a powerful symbol of excellence and inspiration for future generations of athletes. In a moment that shocked basketball fans, a heated confrontation unfolded as Sheryl Swoopes, a legendary figure in women's basketball, shoved rising star Caitlin Clark during a game in front of Indiana Fever fans. The incident occurred during an intense matchup where competitive tensions ran high between the two players. Swoopes, known for her fierce playing style, appeared frustrated with Clark's aggressive play, leading to the physical altercation that left the crowd in stunned silence. The confrontation has sparked widespread discussion, highlighting the intensity and passion that can flare up even among the sport's most respected athletes.
I mean, if you want to talk about bullies, we can talk about every time Caitlin has the ball, she pushes off.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying.
During a high-stakes WNBA game, an unexpected and shocking incident unfolded that left fans and players alike stunned. Caitlin Clark, one of the brightest young stars in women's basketball, found herself at the center of controversy when legendary WNBA figure Sheryl Swoopes, attending the game as a spectator, unexpectedly got involved in a heated on-court moment. The game was already intense, with the Indiana Fever hosting a team featuring Clark, who had been dazzling fans with her scoring and playmaking abilities throughout the season. The crowd was fully engaged, aware that they were witnessing one of the most exciting players in the league.